the basket. Maxey, you're tall. You try it.
I like hearing. Come on. They're booing him here in the Garden.
I didn't say anything to Andre, or none of them, but I did say something to Maxey, and that's why y'all saw us laughing at the free throw line, because he walked up to me and I was like, I went to Kentucky longer than you, so I have a little more experience, you know, with the geometry and all that comes with getting the ball off of that.
You know what, Malika and Wendy? It's an art to this stuff like this, and it's a science to this. And the worst thing in the world for me is having Richard Jefferson laugh at me. Andre Drummond should be ashamed of himself.
That looks really up there.
This is.
Oh, Perk, you got it? Are you sure?
There you go.
There you go.
It's an easy word.
Never
Look,
in doubt, Perk.
Around the crib, they call me Jack of all trades. I get it done, Wendy.
In doubt. Perk, you're doing it all for us, and Kat did a little bit of everything yesterday for the New York Knicks without Joel Embiid. Nice job, buddy. With no Embiid in the paint, though, that means it was wide open. So let's take a look at Karl Anthony Towns, right? Receives the ball around the three-point line. It pulls the rim protector Andre Drummond out here, Perk.
Yeah, I mean, this is the quote-unquote Golden State offense where you have spacing. And great job by Mike Brown unlocking this version of Karl Anthony Towns.
Well, and it was Karl Anthony Towns once again. Look, here he spots Mikal Bridges, who's cutting to the basket, and he's able to lay it up and in. Again, so Cat averaged just 3 assists in the regular season. He had doubled that mark in the playoffs, and especially with no Joel Embiid, they're really able to take advantage. But Cat can also impact things without the ball in his hands.
Yeah, I mean, because he's arguably the best shooting big to play the game, but having the spacing and having to draw so much attention, it opens up for guys like Big Body Brunson.
No Joel Embiid, whatever you want, if that's the way they need it. They got everything they wanted in the paint. The Knicks, they have outscored Philly by 52 points in paint this series. That is tied with the 2001 Lakers for the best paint scoring margin through 2 games of a playoff series since tracking began back in 1998. So staying in the Eastern Conference here, we got game 2 tonight of the Cavaliers and Pistons. Cleveland in danger of falling down 0-2 for the second straight year, as we say hello to our Jamal Collier, who's covering this series and is in Detroit. Jamal, how exactly are the Cavaliers planning to bounce back?
Malika, it starts with turnovers. It's been the story all postseason for James Harden and Donovan Mitchell. They gave the Pistons 31 points off those turnovers in game 1. And Harden and Mitchell, they've been confident really throughout this playoffs that these mistakes have been self-inflicted and that they can clean them up. And I've been with these guys since the start of this playoff run. That's been really that confidence and poise has been how they've been projecting no matter after a win and especially after a loss. So much that Kenny Atkinson, their coach, says, sometimes I can't tell if it's regular season or playoffs, the way that these guys and their demeanor has been. Wrote about this for ESPN.com as you see that bond between Harden and Mitchell. Mitchell said he's really happy to have a kindred spirit in James Harden, a guy who's been through these moments before, who's been in deep playoff runs, but has ultimately come up short and hasn't won a championship. And the reason for that poise and confidence is because Mitchell says, look, we've put in the work. We made the big trade for Harden, and now it's time to trust in that. And he doesn't really feel the pressure of what's really an important postseason run for these Cavaliers.
Yeah, it's an excellent story. Their connection is so important for Cleveland, but they can't find camaraderie and turnovers. Both of them can't be struggling with that, as you mentioned, Jamal. We really appreciate the insight into the Cavaliers here. Since we're talking about the turnovers, take a look at this. The Cavs, this has been the story for them all postseason. They have at least 15 turnovers in 6 straight games, Perk. That's the worst streak in franchise postseason history. The last team to reach the finals averaging at least 17 turnovers a game. Anyone know? You got to go all the way back to 1996. It was the Sonics. Perk, yesterday, you had a lot to say about the Cavaliers in all of this and their responsibility and who needs to step up. So how important is this game, too?
Oh, it's very important. Another must-win situation. Wendy, you got to vote, right? You voted for.
I did.
What about you?
I like that you kept the broom, by the way.
I got to. I worked magic with it, so it might come home with me. Listen, here's the thing. You got to vote, right? You voted Donovan Mitchell, All-NBA?
I did.
Me too. Is he playing like it?
He's not.
No, so that's simple. Like, hey, raise your level of play. Because the guy that you're playing against in Cade Cunningham over the last 4 games, He's playing like an all-NBA player. So, yeah, we could point the finger at James Harden and wonder, should Coach Atkinson make decisions? I get all that. Evan Mobley got to toughen up. But it comes down to Donovan Mitchell rising to the occasion, especially on the road. Damn it, go play like an all-NBA player.
Yeah, they're 0-4 on the road in these playoffs. And on the road, you need your best players because your role players aren't as trustworthy. So you've got to get better play from those two guys. At the last 6 games, they've lost 4 of them. The 2 that they've won, they've had to come from behind. Donovan and James Harden are shooting 40%. The turnovers are one thing. You put the turnovers and the low shooting percentage. Also, Donovan is only getting to the line about once or twice a game. Like, the efficiency is down. Like, this is not what they need to upset a number 1 seed.
And also, let's see, like, Cade wasn't efficient in game 1, but he still, was powerful in the things that he was doing offensively. I want to see what kind of defensive adjustments they're going to make. Are they going to trap him like we're seeing the Lakers do with SGA, or, other teams are doing that, getting the ball out of the best players?
And Jaylen Brown, he really found his stride in the last 5 minutes of that game. Is this the thing that's going to carry over for him now and unlock him for the rest of the postseason? All right, we're mostly focusing on the 8 teams that are left in the playoffs, but it does mean that there's 22 teams in off-season mode. So let's just check in on the best of the rest. We're going to start in Chicago. That's where the Bulls, they introduced their new vice president of basketball operations, Bryson Graham, yesterday. And team CEO Michael Reinsdorf, he joined him at the podium and addressed Bulls fans directly. Take a listen.
First of all, I want to start with our fans. I need to say I'm sorry because the results obviously just haven't been there. It's not something I'm proud of, and it's something that I want to get right.
All right, so the Bulls, they still need a head coach, Brian. What are you expecting from their new front office?
Well, Bryson made it very clear. He wants to take it slow. He's got 2 first-round picks in this draft. We'll see what happens with the lottery. I would say, based on the competitiveness in the East and what they've got in this roster, this is probably going to still be a multi-year rebuild unless they hit a jackpot and win the lottery. And I think Bryson communicated that also. He wants to take time to pick the right coach, so it could be a while.
Yeah, but also you don't want to be stuck in the middle, and that's where Chicago has been. In Boston, since getting bounced from the playoffs, Jaylen Brown's live stream. It's gotten a lot of attention here. That includes a $50,000 fine from the league, questions aimed at team president even, Brad Stevens, about Brown's relationship with the Celtics. So after all that, Jaylen attempted to clarify his thoughts. Let's go back to the live stream.
A lot of stuff swirling around the Celtics and the organization. Hate that our president of basketball operations even had to respond to this. Me and Brad have a great relationship. I love Boston. If it was up to me, I could play in Boston for the next 10 years.
Is that an SB in the background? That doesn't matter. Perk, did that help or hurt things for Jaylen and the Celtics?
Hurt, because he's doubling down on multiple things, right? And the thing is, when you speak after a postseason game or you speak as a current player, you start to lose the trust of not only the organization but the trust of your teammates. And him saying that this was the best season of his career or the most fun he's ever had, you won a championship. How do Jason Tatum feel about that? At this point, just go on vacation.
Fair point. All right, the Bucks, they introduced their new head coach, Taylor Jenkins, yesterday, and several players. Yeah, he does. Well, a lot of players were there. Giannis was not one of those players. Now, Bucks co-owner Jimmy Haslam, he also spoke to reporters, and he addressed the possibility of trading Giannis. And here's what he said, quote, "I just think before the draft is the natural time." Haslam also refuted prior reports about the relationship between Giannis and the organization. He said, quote, "It's still very positive." Now, the NBA draft is less than 2 months away, Brian. So was this a big deal?
Yes, this is the most important thing that's been said in the Giannis situation in weeks, if not months. Jimmy Haslam made it clear that he wants clarity. Clarity from Giannis so the organization can have clarity, and it's going to happen soon, thank God. And so what does it mean? What is the clarity? The clarity is, Giannis, are you in or out? In means probably extending his contract later this fall when he's available. If it's anything other than, yes, I'm 100% in, trade him. And that trade was what he said, we're going to try to do it before the draft. Awesome, and we'll know a lot more after the lottery, where the Bucks might be picking, where teams that might make offers for Giannis might be picking, and that will be an important step.
But there's only one